how you feel about interest rates, honestly, doesn't matter. Right?
Right.
They are what sort of
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah.
But it goes to the core question of, is it smarter to wait and hopefully see interest rates come down further, or to work now?
This is Las Vegas Real Estate Now with local real estate expert Harvey Blankfeld.
So this is a new client that I'm talking to just yesterday, and the story kind of goes like this. I'd like to be buying a property. It's going to be my first property, and we're running through all the numbers, and we're kind of saying, okay, here's where rates are today. And ultimately, he expresses that he's just not happy with where interest rates are. He just doesn't like them.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
He'd like them to be lower before he does something. And so we're working through sort of the logic of that. Like, how you feel about interest rates, honestly, doesn't matter. Right? They are what sort of they are.
Yeah.
But it goes to the core question of, is it smarter to wait and hopefully see interest rates come down further, or to work now? And so one of the things I was pointing out to him, in his scenario, he was talking about buying a $550,000 property.
Okay.
And the interest rate where it is now versus where he thinks he would like it to be is about $150 a month difference between where it is now versus where he'd like it to be.
Okay.
So I was kind of working the math on that and say, so 1 year that costs you an extra $3,000.
Right.
Well, you're talking about a $550,000 property. That property doesn't even have to go up 1% in price for you to lose more than you're waiting to save.
Right.
Right? And so
yeah,
you can play the game. I mean, and for me, it's there is not a hardcore like fact about this. This is all about taking and playing the odds on things. But waiting for interest rates today, in his case, to go down 0.75% further, versus what is the likelihood that this house is going to go up even slightly?
right.
in
Over
price?
time, what, 3-4% average per year?
Yeah, I mean,
over
if-
time,
Over time, that's
it's going
what
to
it's
happen.
historically been, right?
Yeah.
In 2023, we're up somewhere between 7 and 11%, depending on your neighborhood.
Right.
It's seen somewhere between 1 and 6% so far this year, and there's at least all the data I'm looking at points to a continued slow progression.
Yeah.
in
Because we
price.
have a shortage of housing. We don't have enough houses.
Right.
Supply and demand dictates this. It's just where we are now. So if he waits and he gets that interest rate he likes,
Right.
ultimately his payment's still going to be higher.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right. If he
because
has
he's
to pay
paying more for the
that
house.
More for the house, right?
He's paying more for the house, so it didn't really help him. So we talk about that old idea of marry the house and date the rate, and just let's get in. What we always say is this, guys, is philosophically, I say, look, if you find a house you like, one that can work for you, and you can afford it, buy it. Just do it. Get that first one out of the way.
Well, and the sooner you buy, the better off you are generally. You can't time the market.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
And I don't believe you can really time the interest rate markets either.
No.
You can make a smart choice potentially and do it, but it's funny for me to do it. I've got another client right now who's looking to make this decision. I am able to refinance his loan and save him 1% today. And it's an offer on the table and all this kind of stuff. He's now trying to decide, should I wait to see if I can get even lower before I do it or not? And so what I'm having him sort of consider there is, okay, yeah, you could potentially save a little more money and only refinance once in this scenario, right? As opposed to potentially doing it twice. But you do it once. How much are you going to save between now and when that interest rate hits where you want it to be?
Yeah.
Because you need to make up that.
That's right.
As well as everything else that's going on. So if it takes you another year to refinance and I'm saving you $200 a month, well, now you have to make more than that $2,400 of savings, right?
Yeah.
And the numbers are hard to keep all straight and in the considerations. I just worry that it goes back to the old saying, like a bird in hand is worth two in the bush.
Indeed.
Right? Something like that.
Yeah. Well, I think also too, when you talk about buying the house, there's so many factors that go into it. You got the house, the price of the house, you got your closing costs, you have all these things that are, I call them distractions. They're necessary, but they're distractions to what you're trying to do. You're trying to buy a house,
Right.
and you're trying to make a monthly payment,
Right.
Right. So if your payment is what you want it to be, then all the other factors, in my opinion, go out the window.
Yep.
Because if I have the down payment to do it, of course, but then my payment's where it is, you're worrying about things that are all what ifs.
Yeah,
Right.
sure.
The payment is a pretty solid outside of taxes and insurance. but the payment's pretty solid of I know what I'm paying each month.
That's it.
And you're going to pay it anyway. You're
Yeah.
going to rent it and probably pay more, or you're going to pay pretty close to it.
For me, the thought process is I'm going to walk away from a good win in hopes of a great win.
Right.
Right.
You
Right.
take the good win.
Take
Yeah.
the win, get in the house. You
And
have
if
your
it wins
payment.
even more, you'll take that too.